There are many types of living things on Earth. You learned in the previous unit that there are two types of cells, prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. In order for any life to stay alive, energy is required. In this video, I will go over the three major types of eukaryotic organisms, plants, animals, and fungi, and how they obtain energy. I'll focus on eukaryotic cells because all of the multicellular organisms, including us, have eukaryotic cells. First, you have to know that the sun is the ultimate source of energy on Earth. If you trace where energy comes from, it always goes back to the sun. For example, I'm walking, thinking, and talking. And all of these actions require energy. That energy came from the breakfast that I ate this morning. What did I eat? An egg. The chicken that laid the egg also had to eat something to produce the egg. In other words, the energy that was contained in the egg came from the food that the chicken ate. She probably ate grains, vegetables, and fruits, maybe some compost. These plants that the chicken ate got their energy from the sun through photosynthesis. So the sun is the ultimate energy source for all living things, and photosynthesis is the first step of capturing the sun's energy and makes it available for other living organisms. Let's take a closer look at this flow of energy from the sun to plants to other living things like animals and fungi. Plants harvest light energy and produce sugar or glucose through photosynthesis in the chloroplast. You can think of photosynthesis as storing light energy inside of a sugar molecule. And there are two destinations for the sugar that plants produce by photosynthesis. Number one, it becomes part of the plant's bodies. Plants use the sugar molecules as building blocks to grow. That's why animals and fungi can consume plants to obtain sugar, therefore energy. Number two, plants eat the sugar themselves and obtain energy from it for their own growth. Let me explain. Sugar contains energy, right? But cells must digest the sugar to obtain energy. Remember, ATP is the form of energy cells can use. So mitochondria in the cell have to convert sugar into ATP. This process is called cellular respiration. It's like you buy eggs at a grocery store. Just possessing the eggs doesn't give you energy. You have to actually eat the eggs to get energy. The same is true for plants. They can harvest light energy and produce sugar by photosynthesis, but they have to actually eat them or perform cellular respiration to get energy for their growth. It's a very common misconception that plants don't perform respiration because they photosynthesize. Many people think they get energy directly from light, but that's not 100% correct. Plants photosynthesize to store energy in sugar, but they have to perform respiration to break down the sugar in the mitochondria to obtain ATP. So be sure to remember this. All eukaryotic organisms, including plants, have to perform cellular respiration to obtain energy. Okay, again, all eukaryotic organisms, plants, animals, and fungi, perform cellular respiration 24/7. There is one more thing I'd like to mention in this video. is this misconception that fungi, like mushrooms, are plants. But they're actually not plants. They are in fact more closely related to animals than they are to plants. They are consumers. They obtain their energy by eating other organisms. They are not able to photosynthesize and produce sugar. Those organisms that can photosynthesize are almost always greenish in color. The chloroplast, which is the organelle that performs photosynthesis, has a green pigment called chlorophyll. You've seen chloroplasts when you observed plant cells under a microscope. Those green circles inside the cells were chloroplasts. So mosses, ferns, grasses, trees, and algae in the pond, they are all able to photosynthesize and considered producers, producing sugar for themselves and for other living organisms. So looking around this forest, if you look down, there are mosses, and these are green because they have chloroplasts in their cells, and they're photosynthesizing, producing sugar, and they're using the sugar to grow. And of course, if you look up, these trees have leaves, and they're photosynthesizing, capturing sun's energy. And think about how much photosynthesizing they have to do in order to grow big. These trees are made of sugar. Sugar is the building blocks, and they are made by photosynthesis. And these fallen trees are pretty much dead, and they are not growing. So check that out. Mushrooms are growing because these mushrooms are eating this dead tree, and they're eating the tree, meaning they're eating sugar that exists inside of this log, and they're using cellular respiration to harvest the energy stored inside of the sugar, and they're producing ATP. And if you look around, there's that banana slug there. Looks like it's eating a mushroom. And these mushrooms, they're decomposers. They're not photosynthesizing, they're not green, right? But they're breaking down these dead plant material. So if you dig the soil, these are all dead leaves. You can actually see the white fuzzy stuff underground. Those are mushrooms, and they're performing cellular respiration, and they're harvesting energy out of these sugar.